Hi, and welcome back to Showing Up Whole, the place where we discuss alignment in mind, body, heart, and spirit in every aspect of our lives. Today, I want to talk a little bit about the current energy that we are exploring spiritually and in these human bodies of ours. It is Samhain, there is a lot of shifts happening, and what's come into my attention is there's actually three emotions that we need to avoid in order to make sure we are receiving the most beneficial energy that this time can offer. Here we go. So, yes, I am looking at the three emotions that I believe it's really important I want to say avoid, but also work through. Because the thing is that when we talk about emotions, it's really important to remember that it's not a question of pushing them aside when they come up. It's not a question of pretending that they're not there. It's not a question of just quote unquote avoiding them entirely. Rather, the healthy way of working with emotions is to actually listen to them, to hear them, acknowledge them, and work through them. So that's what we're doing. I want to talk about three really big emotions that have come to my attention, are easily to fall into at this point in time, and yet understanding where we are energetically in this world right now, it's really important we acknowledge when these emotions come up and we work through them. So here's how I want to work today. Okay. I'm gonna talk a little bit about where we are energetically right now and what we're actually experiencing and the potentials of what is happening. And then we're going to dive into these three powerful emotions. So let's just, and also then I'm also going to tell you how to work through them rather than just avoid them and stuff them in your own inner closet somewhere. So let's talk a little bit about where we are energetically. So we're in Samhain. I am actually recording this on Samhain on Halloween night. Isn't that a nice energy? And anyone who knows my work at all will know that I always bristle when people talk about Halloween being scary. This has been kind of this steady development of myself ever since my kids were young. It always just felt off the way we perceive Halloween, when really the whole point of this time of year, and I'm going to be going a little bit more into this year specifically, but when you consider you have Halloween, November the 1st is All Souls Day, or it's an the idea is that at this time we are working with the veil between this world and the next world being at its thinnest. So that was perceived as scary years ago. That was perceived as something unseen, unknown, undescribable. So let's make everybody really scared about it. Whereas now, I would like to think we are headed into a time where we can appreciate and understand that there is loving presences that are continually by us, with us, and the spiritual world is a loving space, ready to support us in whatever way is needed. So that is a time where we can really tap into that sense of blessing. There is a sense of allowing, inviting. There's a sense of leaning into the presences of the people who have gone before. Now, that can be people you know, that can be people that you never met, that can be ancestors from a long time ago. But it is understanding that there is a connection to you and others, spiritual beings, that at this time you can get a really solid hook into inviting them in. They're always present, they're always around, but with this time of the veil being the thinnest, this is when you can really, really get into that, really invite that in, really honor that, appreciate it, and step into a little bit more of a life of integrating the unseen. To me, that's like really exciting, and why anyone would make this scary is a topic for another time. All right. So you have that element. So we're in that. It's an annual thing. We annually lean into this energy. It's something we know. That's there. Then you have the fact that we are experiencing a lot of interesting energetic shifts at the moment. You might have heard me talk about this on another podcast. You might also hear a lot of this online. You might never have heard of this because a lot of people are actually having no clue that this is happening when I talk to them about it. But there is this comet, quote unquote. If you're watching this on YouTube, you will see me do flying quotes. Um, there's this comet or asteroid, something called 3I Atlas. Nobody really knows what it is. But there's also a lot of people who are doing different channeling works, different intuitive work to try to find out energetically what it represents and what it is. Now, the truth is that whatever it is, and we don't even need to know what it is making shifts in our energy. Now, that is also being talked about, that it's creating positive shifts. These are beneficial shifts. These are hopeful shifts, almost blessed shifts. I talked to a number of my clients this week who were actually talking about how, they were suddenly seeing things from a different angle. Suddenly things that were hard, they suddenly found easy. Maybe they saw things with fresh eyes, like they'd never experienced it before. Maybe they were sensing that problem, which would never go away, all of a sudden cracked in a different way, and now they could deal with it. There was a lot of people discussing how things just felt fresh and new and like they were seeing it through different eyes. So we can talk about comets and we can talk about all these kind of wild, outlandish Hollywood concepts of these. But the truth is that if you see this as a time of beneficial light energy flowing to you, a time of energy expansion, a time of stretching into a new space of being, as well as a time of being spiritually supported, we are creating a little bubbling space of magic. Because we can all get stuck in stagnant energy. We can all get stuck in patterns and habits and just our usual day-to-day rigmarole. And instead, we are being offered opportunity. And I do see this as offered opportunity because it is almost like someone holding up a flashlight in the dark and it's saying, you can lean into this light. Spirit, the universe being the universe, is not about force. It's not inflicting something upon you. It is expanding, and we are expanding, and we are growing. Now, that's continually true. It's what the spiritual journey is about. But right now, we might be feeling it a little bit differently. Now, if you're listening to this and you're going, that's crazy, I've had a really rough week, or you're saying nothing's working, or you're saying that you're sensing everyone around you is getting really, really stressed out, then we need to poke around this a little bit. Because if we're offered a new frequency, a new energy of beingness, then we have the choice of accepting it or not. We have the choice of going, I'm feeling like I have a different solution or a different perspective of life. I'm curious about it. I'm going to explore that. I'm open to new understanding. Or we have the version of ourselves that would just shut it down, say, no, I like things the way they are. I feel different. That's scary. It can trigger nervous systems. It can trigger old mind patterns. And what that does is it means that we're just not open to it. And then that powerful energy that's coming in is actually going to kind of get skewed and fuel more frustration, more stress, more upset, more things going wrong within our lives, because that's what energy does. Where attention goes, energy flows. So if we're experiencing this big energy upgrade and it has the potential of being positive and aligned and connected and juicy. I'm so excited about this energy flow. If it has the potential of this new breath of life, we can put our attention behind that and receive it as that. Or it will flow to us and we can skew it by trying to resist it, by holding on to what's been, holding on to our hurt, our trauma, holding on to our life as we perceive it as, no matter what. And from that angle, we're going to build, that energy is going to build momentum around more frustration, more stress. Okay, so fun times, right? It's it's a powerful, powerful time. I don't really think when I listen to other people talk about the energy that we're experiencing, a lot of people are saying they've never really seen it quite like this before. So that's exciting. That's an opportunity. It's nothing to waste any time feeling nervous about, but it is time to jump in. So let's talk about jumping in, and let's talk about the 3 emotions to avoid. Okay, like 3 emotions to avoid. To, if they come up, we're not shoving them down. We're going to transmute and alchemize. So your 3 emotions to avoid are frustration, anger, and resentment. Frustration, anger, and resentment. I know life can be frustrating. I know there's a lot of things that can make you angry. And there can be a lot of things that you can deeply, deeply resent. I am not eliminating any justification for these emotions, but I am saying we need to work with them and we need to find ways of transmuting them so that that is not what's being amplified. When I talk about law of attraction with clients and introduce it for the first time, we often talk about how, your emotions, what you're feeling, are like they're written on a big sign, and you're holding that sign up to the universe that says, more of this, please. So when you are resonating deeply with anger, frustration, or resentment, what ends up happening is if you hold that up long enough, even if you're not really acknowledging it, you're just feeling it, that is what energy responds to. Where attention goes, energy flows. Now, as pure positive energy beings, as made of love, as made of light, as made of stardust, we are deeply connected and whole in ourselves when we are resonating with positive energy. Now, there's a lot of pieces in this, right? Because suddenly we have the fact that there's a lot of things happening in our lives and in our world that can make us feel frustrated, angry, and resentful. There's a lot of things that we even just see online that makes us go, and that can breed more of that feeling. And then you have this magical, juicy, beneficial energy that's flowing to us, and it's exciting, and its potentials are unlimited. So, what do we need to do with these emotions? And why are these emotions the ones that are pulled out? Well, because the thing is to remember is that when you are fueled up by anger, when you're fueled by anger, when that's built up like that fireball in your gut, it can feel empowering, and it's, vibrationally, energetically more empowered, more powerful, more impactful than despair or depression. Often people say from depression, you want to reach for anger, and that's true. But the thing is that you're latching on to the story that fuels that, and your attention is going towards angry at something. It's not resonating at a solution of something. It's not resonating at a um a soulful presence. It's not receiving guidance. It's just angry at the lack of control. So I'm gonna kind of just poke around each one of these, and then we're gonna look at solutions. Okay. So then you have frustration, same type of thing. Frustration eats away at us a little tiny bit. It makes us antsy. It can come from a sense of, again, lack of control, but it also comes from that little irritation, right? It comes from a little chatter in your head that pokes away at something small until it grows bigger and bigger. And then you have resentment, which is all of your negative emotion that then gets buried deep within you and into your bones. And it's almost like a subconscious anger, which just permeates and resonates, and it just weighs you down. Again, all of these can have justified cause. You can argue until you're blue in the face of why these are, things that you feel, and why as humans we need to feel these. But right now we need to work through. Okay, so I'm going to take a drink of water. I'm going to take a break. We are going to be working through them, and we're going to clear them out. Okay, because we're going to shift them. So right after this, give me one. Okay. So we're talking about the 3 emotions that's important to avoid at this powerful time of beneficial, positive energy. So let's kind of talk about, well, how do we actually, say you're angry, say you're looking at something and you're actually angry, and you're listening to this podcast and you're about ready to shut it off, and you're like, well, I'm angry. This is an injustice. I want to feel empowered. I'm fired up. What am I supposed to do with that? First step in all 3 of these emotions is to acknowledge it. You want to make sure that you're acknowledging and naming what you're feeling. Not, I am angry, more, this makes me feel really angry. This has really fired me up. I am feeling angry about this situation. Name it, compartmentalize it. Give it a label on a certain situation so that it actually becomes isolated and doesn't leak into absolutely everything. How often is it that you read about something and it makes you angry, and then because you're holding on to that feeling and focus of that anger, it bleeds into everything else, and suddenly you're slamming doors, or you're slamming down that cup on that counter, or you're shouting at your kids. So acknowledge that one thing, observe yourself as the emotion of anger rises up. When you've acknowledged that feeling of anger, then you really need to ask yourself, is this something that I can control? Is this something that I can help? Is this something that I can shift or not? If there's nothing you can do in this, then it's really important that you actually do the self-love work. You talk to your heart, hand on your heart, clear out the energy, do a cord clearing practice like the Ho'oponopono, which is the 4 sentences. The version that I always use is, I'm sorry, I release you, I thank you, and I surround you in love. Do the shifting work so that you can pull your anger out of you and place it where it belongs, but not in you. You can be upset about something. You can transmute anger into being upset, to not being fiery, and to actually then, from that state of anger, acknowledge what you can control and what you can't control. And if you can't control it, because you can't control other people, if you can't control it, then you clear the energy cords, the Ho'oponopono, you release it, you surround the other person or the situation in love and light, and then, hey, we're in the perfect time for this. Hand it over to your spirit team. Get prayers going on the situation. Invite in support. Invite in something that's going to transmute it, that's going to alchemize it, and allow that to then be the productive result of your anger. Your anger is there to show the injustice. You work through the anger and you hand it over to a state of grace. You want support the vision of what would be the opposite of what's making you angry. Give energy to allow the situation that's making you angry to become the catalyst for the magical vision that you can hold. And get behind that. What you're going to do is, by doing the energy cord clearing, by doing the visualization, you are going to actually be launching yourself into a solution space. And from there, you'll start to find the ways you can support the new life experience. We're in deep, deep manifestation energy right now. So let's use it. All right. Frustration. Frustration is really interesting because it's sneaky. So just because we have something that makes us angry, we can usually pinpoint and say, that made me angry. With frustration, it's like little spiders kind of crawling up you. There's a Halloween image. It just creeps in, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I just feel really, really irritated, or really, really frustrated. And our automatic reaction is to blame someone else. Who made me irritated? Who made me frustrated? I actually want to flip this for you. And I actually want to say that frustration is your heart's way of actually nudging you to connect. It's a way that you're naturally will start to call yourself to yourself. Your heart will actually pull you forward. And in that antsy energy feeling, you will find that if you stop, acknowledge, I'm feeling frustrated right now, I'm irritated, and then give yourself time to fill your cup, you'll find that the frustration and irritation dissolves differently. It's not a question of going outside yourself to fix frustration or irritation, always a question of going within yourself to resolve frustration. So tap into you when that irritation comes in, because it's kind of like your skin. You know how when you're irritated, your skin literally crawls? It's kind of like your whole physical body is telling you that it's time to connect. Get out in nature, regulate your nervous system, take care of something you love, focus on something you love, meditate, take your attention off of the frustration energy and allow yourself to connect within yourself. And when you return to what was quote unquote frustrating you, you'll probably find that from a different perspective, it has dissolved. All right, fun, isn't it? I love using emotion as a language. You know, with my clients, I'll often do like things like emotion code work or um energy clearing, or we look at emotions. But each emotion to me has a story. And it's usually not the story that we think it is. You know, we feel something and we assume that it's coming from what's outside of us, but it kind of falls into that iceberg concept. I've been using this like every session this week for some reason. The idea that, you know, we are like an iceberg. The top bit is the part of the emotion that we see, but underneath the water, there is all of these things that have accumulated to create that emotion. And it's so often a buildup of different experiences or perceptions of not connecting with ourselves, of not loving ourselves enough. It comes from a sense of not giving ourselves the compassion and time, you know, not giving ourselves the airtime to actually say, what is going on? What is this feeling? What needs to be cleared? What needs to be released? What needs to be forgiven? What needs to be heard? What needs to be loved? So in all of this, it really does come down to listening. Okay. Last emotion that we're talking about, the third. Okay, so we're looking at resentment. Yeah. Resentment is something that, quite frankly, years ago, I promised myself this was going to be the one that I was going to keep an eye out for, because the minute I started to feel it, it had to be like dealt with. Because resentment is so sneaky. Resentment is like it's like a little fishing hook. You know, it just sneaks in to your heart space, and you push it down and you push it down and you let things go, and the stories build around it just in the background. Like resentment is focused entirely in that bottom half of that iceberg underneath the surface, right? And then it kind of shoots out of the water every so often and reacts in a certain way. And we just see it, it becomes like a lens that we can see through. And it has to be dealt with. Resentment has to be dealt with. Like do not delay. Do not delay. If you are holding on to any resentment, This is truly poison for yourself. Resenting anything is literally like taking poison yourself to hurt other people, because it's a frequency, it's a vibration that is so stagnant and murky and heavy. It's really about, and even when you're dealing with resentment, it's more, it can be built up from so many different places that you're actually looking at ways of shifting from that buildup and not even necessarily understanding exactly where it came from. So it starts by actually sensing the feeling of that resentment. You feel it and you acknowledge it. It's almost like the image at the corner of your mind, right? You just acknowledge it in your peripheral vision. You go, ah, there's something there. And I actually encourage you to, if you start feeling that, put your hand on your heart and tell yourself that you are loved and that you are loved. Imagine the feeling of resentment and then breathing deeply. Just imagine it melting away. And observe yourself as you do this, because as it melts away, you might actually find that it is, you resist it and you want to hold on to it. And that is where you get your solution. It's when you actually want to hold on to resentment and not allow it to release. So again, pull out the Ho'oponopono if someone specifically or a certain situation comes up. Ho'oponopono is like, in my mind, a heal all. So again, those 4 sentences are, I'm sorry, I release you, I thank you, I love you, or I surround you in love. Literally imagine this sticky, sticky substance on you just being released from both you and the other person involved. Allow it to shift. But resentment needs permission for yourself to let things go. To surround in love, again, invite in your angels. Imagine it shining a light on shadows and seeing the shadows dissipate. Because resentment can be so sneaky that you don't necessarily know exactly where it came from. Now, if you want to do the deeper work in this, I mean, because really we are looking at this period of time, and I want you to make sure you're taking advantage of it. If any of these emotions you're feeling are like just stuck, then and you can't quite shift them, then I encourage you to reach out to someone. I mean, you can reach out to me and we can work through them together. There's simple tools that we can use to clear them out. A session or two really helps create that space and shift between energy healing and different tools that I can help with. Now, but at the same time, also just reach out to someone else that you would actually that you resonate with as well, if that doesn't work with you, because it's okay. Sometimes talking about these things is actually what they are here to do. They are actually giving you information. Emotions give us information. They give us data. They are asking something of us. They are nudging us to a greater expansion of ourselves. And so don't give yourself a hard time if you're feeling any of these. Don't judge yourself. Just acknowledge them within yourself and ask for more information from yourself. Your heart is one of the most powerful systems that you have. It is so much stronger than your head. And it has gathered up so much information about yourself, as well as your soul, as well as the universe, as well as what your angels are telling you and your guides are telling you. It is gathering it all there. And as it does that, it is guiding you to your best possible outcome solution. So listen, listen, listen deep. And at this time of the veil being the thinnest, ask. If you need help, support, your team is there. You are allowed to ask. There is systems of support. I have no idea how often I'll be doing an energy healing on a client, and all their angels will literally just be standing around. I can feel the presences of them, just like waiting to be called upon. Your angels are with you. And be that in the form of angels, of ancestors, of spirit teams, of spirit animals, of loved ones, of whatever you resonate with. And it's again another podcast to go through. But trust your heart. Feel free to ask and listen to what your emotions are telling you. And in all of that, I hope that you are feeling the deepest expansion and growth and taking advantage of this amazing, amazing time we are embarking on. Feel free to reach out if you need any help in really jumping in. And other than that, I hope that you savor and relish the beautiful feeling of blessed and connected. Love and light, everyone. Take care.